Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are new here, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. Make sure you turn that bell notification on, and let's just go ahead and jump into this video. So as you can tell from the title of this video, this is my postpartum video, my postpartum update. Going to be touching on a lot of different things in this video, from things that happened right after delivery all the way up to breastfeeding and like how I'm feeling now, everything. Gonna give you guys a body update, all of that. So we got a lot of stuff to cover in this video. This may have to be a two-part video because I have so many things that I want to touch on, but I'm gonna try and get it all into one video for you guys. No promises, so may or may not be two parts. So make sure you are subscribed if it is two parts so you can catch the second half of this video. So also just want to touch really quickly on why I have not filmed anything since birth, and I'm now 3 weeks postpartum as of yesterday. And it's just because life has been pretty crazy. Even just trying to get this video filmed today has been pretty crazy because basically my schedule is Belle's schedule, so whatever she has planned for the day is what the plan is, and so whoever knows what that plan is going to be. So yeah, but I do hope to bring you guys a lot more videos. I have a lot of stuff that I do want to film and get out to you guys. If you guys have any video suggestions, please comment them down below so I can film those videos for you guys. All right, enough me rambling. Let's go ahead and jump into this video. So I do have some notes here that I took down, and then I also have some notes on my phone as well. So I want to try to keep this video as organized as possible. And I have it kind of broken up into different sections. So let's go ahead and start with the first section. So immediately after delivery, you have a whole bunch of nurses and stuff in the room with you in the labor room, and one of the things that the nurses are doing is they're pushing on your stomach. So they're pressing on your stomach to help your uterus contract back down. So it's very uncomfortable and it's not very fun, but it's something that has to be done. So they do this for like the first 24 hours. They come in periodically, and they are pressing down on your stomach. They check your bleeding as well. We'll get into bleeding a little bit later. But they are just making sure that you are, healing correctly and you're not losing too much blood, or you're bleeding enough and all of that stuff, that you're not having blood clots, things of that nature. So that's one thing that's happening. Another thing that a lot of people don't tell you about is that you are still having contractions after you deliver your baby. So after you deliver your baby, then you have to deliver the placenta, so you're still having contractions for that. And then after you deliver the placenta, you start having contractions to bring your uterus back down. So those contractions can be a little bit painful. I just suggest like breathing through them like you did during labor, just using your different labor techniques to breathe through them. But they're not as bad as labor contractions, but they are, pretty painful, but not to that extent of labor painful, but they are painful. I also felt contractions of my uterus when I was breastfeeding as well. So in those early days of breastfeeding, you can feel your uterus shrinking back down while you're breastfeeding. So I would like literally go to like start breastfeeding and be like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to breastfeed because my uterus is gonna start contracting down, and it's painful. So those were some things that were going on. Also after delivery, a lot of people experience like pain, swelling, or they may have a tear in their vagina. So as for me, I'm gonna touch on like how my delivery went. As for me, I, thank God, did not tear. I had a little small abrasion. My doctor said, she said that she didn't even have to stitch it up. So I told her not to because I delivered all natural, no epidural, no drugs, no nothing. So I was just like, yeah, no, if you don't have to touch me down there, like please do not touch me down there. So I didn't have any stitches or anything like that. So a lot of people will experience pain though. I don't remember feeling really any pain, and I was having medication put into me like immediately, and I will touch on the different medications that I'm taking. Let's actually just go ahead and touch on those right now. So my doctor prescribed me just like Tylenol and then ibuprofen. So those are the two things that I was taking regularly, like on the, right on the dot, like every 4 hours or every 6 hours for depending on which medication. I was taking those, so I didn't really feel any pain at all. So like the nurses would come into my room and be like, what's your pain level? I'd be like, I don't have any pain. Like I felt completely normal after birth, which is very rare because after my first pregnancy with my first daughter, I couldn't even really sit down. I did tear with her. I did have to have stitches with my first daughter, so I was literally sitting on a donut and things like that. So some things that you can do to relieve the pain also besides taking medication is you can do ice packs. Like I know in the hospital they will give you ice packs to put down there to help with pain. You can also make your own padsicles for like at home. I was gonna do those for you guys and film them for you, but unfortunately I ran out of time. But what you do for padsicles is you mainly just take, I have some pads here, mainly you just take a pad and you open it up, and then you want to take this part off here and place it to the side because you want to keep it to put it back all together. But you basically would open it up, and then you would take some aloe vera, and you would also take some witch hazel, and you would put it on the pad, a generous amount, and then you would put the little thing back on the wings, fold it back up, and put it in a Ziploc bag. So you would basically do like the whole pack of these. And these ones are pretty thin. I wouldn't do these ones. I would do the ones that they give you at the hospital because in those beginning stages you are bleeding pretty heavily. So you want to do those. These are the ones I got from the hospital. These ones are like pretty thick, they're long, they're huge. So I would recommend doing something like an overnight pad, something that's going to be more for heavy bleeding. So that's one thing you can do as well. Another thing that you can do is the dermaplast. A lot of people will spray that down there. That helps with pain. And then people will also do the pads that are soaked in witch hazel, and they'll put those down there, and those help with pain and just cooling as well. But I did not have to use any of that stuff. The only thing I did was basically take my medication, and that was enough for me for a pain reliever. So some other things that may cause pain is like the first time I went to the bathroom, it stung like when I started peeing, and that felt like needles like poking into your vagina. That was not fun. But once it started to flow, then it like went away. And then the second time I went pee, that happened again. But then after that, I didn't have that like at all. So that was like the only real pain that I like felt in my vagina was actually when I went to the restroom. Let me look at some more notes here. Yeah, so that's pretty much everything that happens kind of immediately after delivery and how you're feeling down there and all of that. So those are all the different things that you can do to help with pain. So let's talk about bleeding. So after delivery, you're bleeding a lot, and basically you haven't had a period for 9-10 months. So now your body, you're gonna bleed for like a month pretty much. Some people may bleed for a month, some people bleed less, but as for me, I was bleeding like the first, I wanna say 2 days, like the day of delivery and like the day after delivery, and probably the third day as well, I would say. My bleeding was pretty heavy, and so I actually only wore these the first day, like the day of delivery. I wore these, and I also wore these mesh panties that they give you at the hospital. These were the two things that I used the day of delivery. And then the day after delivery, I went ahead and moved into these. These just felt more comfortable. I felt more secure in these because with the mesh panty and the pad, it just felt like the pad was moving all over the place. The mesh panties didn't fit me very well, so I just felt like things were just moving. I didn't feel very secure. So I'm so glad that I purchased these. They are these Depends panties. So this is what they look like. And they also have like a pad in the middle of them as well. So these definitely were the things that I wore like the 2 days following birth. So I wore these. And then I also, just for extra protection, I did put a pad in here as well, just to make sure like I wasn't leaking through or anything like that. So that is what I did. So make sure you guys get these, try them out. You may also want to purchase some like granny panties. You might want to get some bigger panties. I didn't get to get those as well because I ran out of time. But I would purchase some bigger panties just because you don't want anything tight on you. You don't want anything pushing up like up against your vagina, things like that, just so you can like breathe and stuff like that. So a couple days following birth, I started just using these pads right here. These are just regular flow, and I would just do these. And then every time that I went to the restroom, I would change my pad. So I was constantly changing my pad, or when I was wearing these, I was constantly changing these just to stay clean. And another thing that they give you at the hospital is they give you this peri bottle. And so what I would do is every time I went to the bathroom, I would fill it up with warm water, and I would spray myself down there just to kind of clean myself out. And plus you can't wipe after you give birth. So I would just spray this on there and then just dab to make myself feel clean, to make myself feel fresher, because I just felt gross and stinky. Like, I've never been the one to wear pads. I've always been like a tampon girl. So wearing pads is just gross for me. I feel dirty like all the time. So this was definitely a lifesaver. Sometimes I would even just fill it up with warm water, and then I got some Vagisil, and I would put a little bit of Vagisil in here with some warm water and like spray down there with soap, and then I would like pour that out and then just do regular water and regular warm water just to rinse like all the soap off. But I definitely recommend every time you go to the bathroom to use this and change your pad. It just makes you feel better. It makes you feel more clean, and you don't feel stinky and things like that. So that was definitely something else that I used. So I don't know if I've said, just like from the hospital, things that I took home from the hospital was this. They gave me, I have a whole pack of pads that I didn't even use here. And then they gave me like some of the mesh panties as well, which I didn't end up using either. But this I definitely did use. So if your hospital has these, make sure you get one. If not, I know you can order them on Amazon as well. So if I can find a link for one on Amazon, I'll put it down below. But definitely use this. Also too, with bleeding, like I could feel like the blood like squirting out of me. Like if I would like cough or laugh, it felt like when I was pregnant and the baby was sitting on my bladder, and I would like cough or laugh or sneeze or anything like that, like pee would come out. And that's basically how it felt now, like after delivery with the bleeding. Like if I would cough or anything, like I could feel like the blood like gushing out. So that's pretty gross, but that definitely did happen as well. Also, now that I am going to be 3 weeks postpartum, let's touch on like the couple of weeks. So the first week of postpartum, like my bleeding was pretty normal, and then like I said, I was just doing regular pads, and then it tapered down towards like the end. So I actually got to get down to wearing just panty liners. So I just got these panty liners here, and I was able to just wear a panty liner. And then the second week of postpartum, all of a sudden like all the blood came back. I was getting that lochia, so like the discharge, it was like blood and lochia. I just felt gross. I felt like it had like a smell to it, and I just felt gross. And I don't know if it's just because it's blood and I don't ever do like pads, like I said. So I just felt like gross. I felt like it smelled weird. I just felt like dirty. So it felt crazy because it was just literally like I had tapered off. I thought I was like, oh, it's ending. My bleeding's ending. And then all of a sudden, like all the blood came back the second week. And then the third week, it pretty much tapered down. Like all last week, all I wore was just the panty liners. So that's all I've been wearing. And I've actually been able to start wearing these as well. So these are the thong panty liners. I like to wear a lot of leggings, so you can't really wear underwear with leggings because your panty line's gonna show, and I just don't like for my panty line to show. That's my preference. And so I'm now able to wear these as well. So I just always make sure I carry extra ones just in case. Sometimes I feel like the more active I am, sometimes the lochia, and the bleeding starts to happen a little bit more. So I still have a little bit of blood that comes out here and there, but mainly now it's just discharge. So that's been my extent of things. So I'm hoping like within the next week, all the blood will be gone and it'll probably just be discharged, and then that'll just start tapering off. But I will let you guys know and update you guys on that stuff too a little bit later. Let's talk about the very first poop. I feel like that's something that people do not talk about. So My doctor actually did give me stool softener, so I was taking 2 of these a day. And just so you guys know, I'm not taking any of my medication anymore. Not even taking the stool softener, but I kind of feel like maybe I should still be taking these. So I might start taking these again. But I delivered on Sunday, and I had my very first poop Thursday. And yes, it hurt. It felt like my butthole was ripping open when I first went to the bathroom. So the stool softeners definitely will help with that. So yeah, make sure you guys get that if you ask your doctor to give you the stool softener. I think it's something that they do all the time now anyway, so just make sure that you get the stool softener. So next, let's talk about breastfeeding and all of that fun stuff. I am gonna do probably a separate video on breastfeeding because it's just a lot to touch on, and I have already gotten some people wanting me to do a video on breastfeeding, so we'll be doing that shortly. Hopefully I'll be able to film that very soon. But I'm gonna go ahead and touch on just like the day 1 right after you deliver. So you have colostrum, and you have the colostrum up until your milk comes in. So it's like a thick milk. They call it like liquid gold. It has a whole bunch of nutrients and everything in it that your baby needs to get through those first couple days before your milk comes in. And so that's what you're gonna have like the first couple of days. And then after that, your milk will come in, and you will know when your milk comes in because your boobs get humongous. They get very hard and very full, and sometimes they hurt. You can become engorged, things like that. So with me, I ended up getting my milk on day 3. So I went home Monday, Tuesday, my milk had come in. I remember Belle cluster fed all Monday night, and then literally like Tuesday, my milk was in. So it's different for everybody, but that's what I experienced. Just wanted to show you some things that I am using for breastfeeding. So I am using this Boob Ease right now. It's an organic nipple balm, and when you first start breastfeeding, your nipples are going to be raw, so you have to basically toughen up your nipples, so the baby's going to do that. And as long as your baby's latching on correctly, you shouldn't really be having nipples that are hurting. But sometimes, you know, when you are trying to get that latch down with your baby, you will, you know, get nipple soreness, cracked nipples, and all of that. So this definitely helped. So I put this on after every feeding. I haven't been using it as much because we've pretty much got our breastfeeding down now. So I haven't been using this as much, but I did use a lot of it. Like it's almost gone there. But I will still put it on from time to time just to help with my nipples. But this is definitely something that I do recommend you getting. And then also another thing that I would suggest is getting some like nursing pads. These ones are reusable ones, so you can wash these ones. You just throw them in the washer. I have some on now. You can't even probably tell. But these ones are nice. They're like heart-shaped. And so this one came with a pack of 4, so 2 sets, and you just throw them in the washer. You can throw them in the dryer. Only thing with these is like once you know you don't have any more and they're in the wash and you need new ones, like you only have this set, then you know you're gonna either want to purchase more. Or I also use the disposable pads. I will use these as well. So in those first few days when your milk comes in, and if you have like a good milk supply like I do, you're gonna be leaking a lot of milk. So like I would literally get out of the shower and like my nipples are like dripping, so I have to like immediately put on like a nursing bra and put the pads in there immediately. So those definitely do come in handy. I know a lot of women will wake up the next day and have have milk all over their sheets. So you want to make sure that you are using those pads. Those definitely do come in handy. Another thing that I used that came in handy was these 3-in-1 breast therapy by Lancino. I don't even know if I say that right, but I think it's Lancino. And I'm gonna show you guys these. So they're like these gel-like things. You can put them either in the freezer or you can put them in the microwave. So if you're feeling engorged or if you're feeling sore, you can put them in the microwave or you can put them in the freezer, and these definitely do help with engorgement and feeling sore. So definitely get these. These will definitely help with like your milk letdown, not being engorged, and helping with soreness, all of that. So definitely get these. And then the last thing I want to touch on with breastfeeding is my breast pump. So I did get the Spectra S2 breast pump. I actually got it for free through Aeroflow. So I actually went on their website, filled out their form, and with my insurance information, and I was able to get this. This one is a double pump, so it does come with two, so you can pump both breasts at the same time. And I actually just started pumping for the first time yesterday. I pumped yesterday for 15 minutes and I was able to pump almost like 6 ounces of milk yesterday. So that was really awesome that I was able to pump that much. I want to start pumping so I can get some milk stored up, because at 4 weeks you can start introducing a bottle. So if you're exclusively breastfeeding, the doctors, lactation consultants, they all recommend that you start bottle feeding and like introducing a pacifier and all of that 4 weeks after baby is born, just so that they don't get any type of nipple confusion. I did start the pacifier on my daughter at 3 weeks, so we just started the pacifier on her. She's not really liking it. She's kind of liking it, so we'll see what happens. But I mean, I would rather her not like it. My first daughter had a pacifier, and that was the hardest habit to break, was getting her off of that pacifier. So if I don't have to get my new daughter now on the pacifier, that would be great. But so we just started her on that, and then we'll start the bottle feeding next week. So I just want to start building up my freezer supply so that now Brandon can feed her, or my daughter can feed her. If I want to go out for a couple hours, I'll have milk in the freezer, and somebody else can feed her. So yeah, a lot of people say too, I know people are probably gonna be like, you're not supposed to pump right now. I feel like pump when you need to. With my first daughter, I started pumping the day after I got home from the hospital, because I was so engorged and in so much pain that like I had to pump. It never messed up my milk supply. I never had any issues with my milk from me starting to pump, right away. I did this time though, like I said, I started pumping at 3 weeks postpartum, and I'm gonna continue to pump just because I want to have some milk built up, so when we do start on week 4 of me being postpartum and Belle being 4 weeks old, that she will already have milk in the freezer. So that is why I'm pumping now, and my milk supply is in. I'm not having any issues with my milk supply, thank God. So that's why I have started pumping already. As far as me coming right out of the hospital, like I was feeling pretty great. I was feeling great right after delivery. Like I remember like right after delivery being like really, really hungry. Like I was up moving around, walking around, everything. Like I didn't even feel like I had given birth to a baby at all. Like when I say that this birth, like my labor and delivery was like the most, not easy, but like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it wasn't anything like my first pregnancy. These 2 pregnancies were night and day as far as labor and delivery. And with Belle, I think just because it was all natural and I didn't tear like that, I was able to be up and moving around and be active and feel okay, because I didn't tear, I didn't get an epidural, I wasn't confined to the bed, things like that. So I felt like it helped with my recovery a lot quicker. But it also tricked me as well, because like the first week I was feeling good, like, and then like I want to say, I believe it was like Friday. Let me look at my timeline here. I have some notes here. Yeah, Friday or Thursday. Actually, Thursday I started feeling like the effects of labor. Like I didn't feel anything like the first couple days. Like I felt normal. I felt like I was literally coming home, cleaning the house, doing chores, cooking. Me and Brandon, we had a doctor's appointment the day after we got home from the hospital, so day 3. We took the baby to the doctor's, and then we were at the grocery store shopping. We came home and like cooked, and like I totally felt like normal, but then literally it all caught up to me and like hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was just like, oh, okay, like you need to slow down, you need to sit down. I was feeling lightheaded and stuff like that, and then of course I'm not getting any sleep right now, so that wasn't helping either. So I'm like tired, lightheaded, starting to feel like some pain and discomfort, things of that nature. So yeah, that wasn't working out very well. And also I want to touch back on bleeding. I did notice that when I'm up walking around and being more active, I would bleed more, and I would have more discharge when I was up and being active and moving around a lot more. So I've been having to tell myself a lot to like sit down, chill out, calm down, like, you know, don't do so much, try to rest and all of that, because I just feel like I'm okay. Like I felt like I could go to the gym the next day after giving birth. That's how like good I felt. So it was pretty crazy. But yeah, I think I said that I was feeling really hungry after delivery, and that's how I'm still feeling now. Like I feel like I'm just so hungry now, whereas during pregnancy, like it was very difficult for me to eat because I had indigestion. If you've watched some of my past videos, you will see like I had indigestion and heartburn sometimes, and so a lot of times I couldn't feel that I was hungry. I just felt full all the time. So now it's like complete opposite. I feel hungry all the time. I want to eat all the time, even though a lot of times I'm feeling like I cannot eat. So like I say that because a lot of the times that I'm about to sit down and start eating, the baby starts like crying. It's like she knows, oh, mom's gonna eat, so let me start crying and acting up so she can't eat, is basically like what I feel like. So she starts acting up a lot of the times. I just have like late starts in the morning. It's hard. So a lot of times I find myself just like breastfeeding her and like feeding myself and trying to put water in myself all at the same time. So it's like when she eats, it's like when I'm eating too. So sometimes she gets a little bit of crumbs on her from me eating too, but I'm definitely feeling a lot more hungry now that I'm not pregnant anymore. Some other things going on right now is I'm starting to get really tired of being in the house. Uh-oh, somebody's waking up. Or she might be having a dream. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, tired of being in the house. I'm pretty much in the house all day. I don't really like taking her out a lot, just because she is still so new, and just trying to get out of the house is a task, and I have to like time everything. I've got to make sure she's fed and diaper change and all of that, because once I'm out, it's kind of hard to do all of those things. For example, I thought I had timed everything right the other day. I had to take my daughter dress shopping, and I had fed her and changed her and everything. And I was like, okay, I should have at least 2-3 hours. And I maybe had like an hour and a half, and we were at the mall and inside of Forever 21 breastfeeding her. And then she like threw up everywhere, and it was just not fun. So like staying in the house just seems a lot easier for me. I do try to get out like once a day and just go outside for a little bit, but it's definitely a task just trying to get out of the house. So yeah, but being in the house, I'm starting to go crazy. So it's going to be nice once she does turn 4 weeks, because she'll be able to be bottle fed, and I can get out a little bit more and do things like I need to go get my nails done. And that's probably not going to happen until week 4, because I can't really leave her. It's like she has to either go everywhere with me, or I'm just staying in the house. So that's pretty much what's going on. Also want to touch on like baby blues, like postpartum depression type stuff. The very first week I was feeling pretty good, and then I want to say a week after delivery is when I started feeling like the baby blue stuff. Just kind of starting to cry for like no reason, not knowing why I'm crying. Like Brandon like came in one time like, why are you crying? I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying. I'm just like crying for like no reason. The hormones are just everywhere. I know we were trying to go to the mall one day, and I was trying to get dressed, and it was just very frustrating because although I have like lost weight since the baby, I still can't fit like a majority of my clothes. So I'm like trying to squeeze into clothes and trying to find something to wear, and then like my boobs are huge, and I remember I had like just breastfed, and then was like one boob was like bigger than the other boob, and I just felt like I looked weird, and I just didn't feel good, and like I got frustrated, and I started crying, and like things like that have been happening. I had a little bit of an episode like this morning. This morning Belle was just crying hysterically, and I don't know why she was crying this morning. Like she had eaten already, she her diaper was already changed and all of that, and she was just like screaming her head off, and I was just like, what's going on? Like, is something wrong with you? Like, why are we just crying and crying and crying? Couldn't get her to calm down, so then I started crying. So it's just like things like that have been happening like that, but other than that, those are like the only like signs of baby blues that I've been having. Now let's also talk about like weight loss and all of that. So when I got home from the hospital, I had lost about like 5-6 pounds only when I got home from the hospital, and I was like, wow, that's all I lost. Like, I thought I was gonna lose like 10 pounds right off the back when I like first got home from the hospital, but that definitely wasn't the case. I was holding on to weight for a little while. Like, I did not just drop immediately. And then now, as of today, I am 8 pounds away from my pre-pregnancy weight. So it's definitely been falling off little by little each week by week. And then I know that since I'm not resting and all of that, like, sleep plays a big part in weight loss. And if you're not sleeping, if you're not resting, you're gonna hold on to weight as well. So I know like the scale's just been kind of all over the place. And I haven't been like dieting or counting macros or anything like that right now. Like, I'm just eating, and if I want to eat something, like, I'm eating it. I do try to, you know, eat as clean as I can, but to be honest, like, I'm just not eating as clean as I can. I'm pretty much eating whatever, but just trying to get like 3 real meals in me, trying to stay hydrated and all of that. But I do plan on starting to count macros again once I am clear to go to the gym. So once I'm clear to go to the gym, I do want to start like meal prepping again and counting macros and all of that. So stay tuned for the postpartum fitness journey. We'll be taking you guys along with me for that. So we'll be doing full days of eating again, workouts, you know, what I'm eating, just to help with like my breast milk and things like that, and just to lose weight as well. So when you are breastfeeding, you do have to eat more calories than you normally would, you know, if you are trying to cut. So even though I'm going to be trying to cut, I still have to keep my calories high as well, so that I do not lose my milk. So that's going to be a whole another video. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I am looking like. What is this? 3 weeks postpartum. I will enter some clips as well. I believe I have clips from 1 week postpartum and being 2 weeks postpartum, so you guys can see, you know, just each week how my stomach has gone down each week. So week by week, how my stomach is going down. So let me show you guys that. We are now 9 days postpartum. I am 12 pounds away from my pre-pregnancy weight, but we are getting there. All right, so this is what my stomach is looking like right now. This is not me flexing, doing anything. This is just normal, what my stomach is looking like at this moment. And then if I do like try to bring it in or flex, this is what it's looking like. If I do try to flex it, but still really squishy, still have some work to do. I still have my line here that hasn't gone away yet. So yeah, this is what we are looking like right now. And I do want to go ahead and show you the baby as well. I'm going to try and get her and show you guys her. She is sleeping, so hopefully she will not wake up, although she is going to need to wake up soon though, because I do need to feed her. So let me show you guys her. One sec. All right, everyone. So this is Miss Belle. She is still stretching and trying to wake up. Ugh. But she's still sleeping. But this is what she looks like. She's 3 weeks old now. And when she was born, she was 5 pounds, 7.3 ounces. and we took her for her 2-week last week, and she was weighing 6 pounds 11 ounces, so she's up a lot since her birth weight. So she definitely does love to eat. She is stretching. She's definitely a stretcher when she first wakes up. But yeah, she's gaining weight. She is now 20.5 inches long. She was 18.5 at birth, so she is definitely progressing, and we're gonna keep stretching it out. Oh, and now we're gonna start crying. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video and get her fed, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel. Make sure your bell notifications are on, and like I said, if you guys have any topics you guys want me to touch on for future videos, please comment them down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. And this is real life right here. This is what takes me so long to start filming videos, is because she starts crying and she wants to eat and all of that. But yeah. Alright guys, see you guys later. Bye. Oh. Oh no, Mama, let's go eat. Are you ready to eat? Oh, is she gonna stretch? Look at this hair. You're getting a bath tonight. You are getting a bath tonight.